Hello, and welcome to Coaching Corner with me, Tracy Forsyth. So, a week or so ago, I was invited to the Royal Institute of British Architects to give three keynote speeches on leadership. One, what learning to lead. The second, leading a team, and the third, leading an organization. So three different topics, different perspectives, three different lenses on leadership. And it made me reflect that the absolute foundation to all three is self-leadership, the skill and practice of leading yourself. So I think if you want to be a highly effective leader, then it absolutely starts with being able to lead yourself. So what is self-leadership? Well, I think it involves seeing yourself as a being with different parts within the whole that have to be learned, have to be managed, have to be inspired and grown. So it's a big, sort of like much like a company that is created for a purpose. And then uses its energy and resources on fulfilling that purpose or delivering a particular mission. I think the same thing goes for us as leaders. So it's a very big subject, but I think there are four main elements to consider: self-management, self-discovery, self-acceptance, and self-growth. So first off, self-management. To me, this means managing your energy and your resources in the right way for you to lead. So without energy, it's really hard to have the ability to do things long term. I often use the metaphor of a Formula One car, which goes round and round the track at high speed, fending off competition, navigating difficult bends. And it can only do that if it has pit stops, if it refuels, if it has the tires changed, engine oil, and so on. So on a basic level, in terms of self-management, are you managing yourself and your needs as if you were a Formula One car or a knackered old tractor? If it's the latter, then think about it. You have work to do if you want to go round those bends, not round the bend, round the bends, effectively. So secondly, self-discovery. Such a massive subject, but this is about pausing and processing what is going on inside you as you go about life, understanding your reactions, your values, what you find purposeful, what you don't like, how you operate when faced by challenge. It's about knowing yourself, what you stand for, and what success looks like for you. I think self-discovery really helps with confidence, because the more you know and understand yourself, the less you compare yourself to others and the less doubt you have about why you do what you do or react the way that you do. So number three is self-acceptance. Well, I've never met somebody who is 100% happy with how they are. Most people can reel off the ways they aren't perfect and struggle to name a few ways in which they're wonderful. So some say it's a survival technique to always be aware of potential threats or dangers. I mean, some people think it's cultural. I think all of the above contributes. But I do know that once you start to accept yourself and your many positive attributes, then life gets a bit easier. I definitely made a conscious decision to see myself how others were telling me they saw me, rather than the way my inner critic saw me. So I think one of the first steps for this is to identify your inner critic and understand what fear or value it represents. And I think the other is to really listen to what other people say about you. And instead of batting it off if it's a compliment, digest it and value it. See yourself through their eyes. Lastly, number four, self-growth. We live in an ever-changing universe. 'Twas always thus, and I think 'twill always be. And if you're blessed with a lifelong love of learning, then self-growth won't be hard. It'll be interesting to you. And in leadership, I think whether you're interested on whether you have a lifelong love of learning or not, I think you have to adopt it. It's about going from understanding and growing from being a reactive leader that is very much about controlling, protecting, or complying with those higher up, to being an integral leader, able to deal with complexity and emerging systems and being able to respond to change. So I think the first step here is just to read widely, listen actively, consider different perspectives, and see conflict as a point of view needing to emerge. Get feedback on you and your leadership. Ask what you could do more of, what you can do less of, how you could improve. So those are my 4 elements of self-leadership for you to consider. So this week I invite you to consider your self-leadership and let me know what you think. All right, take care. See you next week.